really for anyone who's an empath, it really is valuable for you to get to know your chakra system if you're energy sensitive in any capacity, and have that balanced and aligned. And then we also wanted to share a little bit of a tool with you about filtering energy. So this can be helpful for anything you're going through with your throat chakra right now or any of your chakras, but it can also be really helpful for you if you find yourself in any sort of attitude or environment that is not the most lovely at the moment. It's a helpful and healthy practice to get into. We don't want to say shielding and overly protecting because we don't want to go into that lower and fear vibe base of it. Sometimes, you can shield and call in higher protection, but most times what's going to be helpful for you to do is filter. And so a visual that I've always loved to use for my clients is the Glinda bubble from The Wizard of Oz, because that's something most of us have seen in our childhood, and we can easily picture and call that mental picture into focus. And energy is real. Imagining energy is real in order to utilize it and tap into it. And if you want to imagine calling in that beautiful bubble of light around you and programming that light to act as a filter, and allow and ask and imagine that only energy that is of the highest good for you and for whoever you're interacting with is allowed to filter its way through your bubble of light.
I love that so much. And what we were kind of chatting today about was the whole idea that we can imbue it with a certain color, which would resonate with whatever chakra and whatever the frequency of the color is, and different things for different times. And that for both of us, we're both in love with the purple or the violet colors. And then, but also there might be different colors that might work in other situations. And you mentioned the golden light as well, and how that's such a high and beautiful frequency, or just the white light. And then how you said sometimes you just need to bust out the full rainbow and just have full spectrum.
Yeah, I love cleansing and protecting with rainbow light because it's the full spectrum. If you have things going on with a few of your chakras or hitting a few of the different points, rainbow light is always really helpful. White light is really pure. Gold light is of the divine, and specifically of the divine masculine and that type of strength. Silver light would be more divine feminine. And then, of course, violet light, people are familiar with the violet flame. And that is really, I really also love the Tao work that's done with violet light. I follow closely a lot of the teachings of the Taoist master Mantak Chia, and he does the science with some of the chi energy and always uses violet light. And yes, we have lovely Maria Lady Sag saying yellow. Yellow is really good for solar plexus and personal power and solar energy vibes and all that goodness. And then we were also really feeling for today in particular blue for the throat chakra that's going on.
Right.
Yeah. Blue is really high vibe as well. If you're a starseed, it's more than likely that one of your favorite colors is blue because many of the high vibe star families vibe with blue and different blues. So.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, and the whole idea that what you mentioned, whatever we visualize, even though it seems like it's just in our imagination, that is how we create. So if we're imagining a bubble, we're imbuing it with a color, we're imagining the frequency and the properties that it holds, we're activating that just with our imagination. And then the more we focus on it and the more powerful it will become. And then we'll have evidence and see things oh, when I did this color, this is what happened. And then we begin to trust it more and more over time. And one thing that I did one time was just, it was my vibe was low and I just needed it now. So I imagined the bubble, but I even had just the amethyst stones, just imagining it on the outside. So even viewing it with that solid property of this is
right. Because that would be more shielding than filtering. So, being able to determine which is more appropriate for you in the moment. And I also like to use the pillar of light. So I have that in a lot of my practices as well, and in the guided transmission that I do, and in some of my YouTube meditations and things, to be that circuit and create an energy circuit from above and below and through you. If you need to replenish as opposed to just filter.
Yes, I love that so much. And the idea of it like going down into the earth and the energy intermingling with Gaia and then coming back up into the galactic, and then the galactic energy coming and it all commingling and just feeling anchored and rooted but expansive as well. I just love it. I love all of that stuff too. So,
and if you're feeling it's not a good enough energy structure, creating a circle and a cycle of cyclical energy for yourself to strengthen your auric field will be really helpful. And there are crystals and things as well that help with auric tears and things like that. So don't be afraid to not have it just be a stagnant bubble, but move the energy through as well.
I love that. Like, I've never even heard of that. So that's next level for me. So that's super, super cool. Yeah. And I like the idea of the filtering. Like, that's probably would be more my go-to, because I don't like the idea of pushing away, because I just know that there's actually attraction in that energy. But the idea that just knowing that, yes, we're in a physical world, there's all the frequencies around, and that we get to choose which ones we want to let into our bubble, into our energy field, and that can be like thought forms too, and different places that have a general kind of vibe, or certain people that might kind of default to a more negative place, or whatever their vibe is.
And if you're feeling negative from those people or from an entity or an energy, you can also imagine using your right hand as more your masculine hand to push back out of the frame of your bubble anything that's too much in your space energetically.
Wow, I felt that. That's super cool.